Welcome to the bold analysis, ladies and gentlemen. And we are almost, how many days? We are almost 13 days to the general election. President Uhuru Kenyatta is clearing State House for the next president, the way Oscar Sudi has been saying. But in that process, there are a lot of things that are happening. For the last 2 days, the president has been in Nakuru. And the mission in Nakuru for the last 2 days has been very clear. Let me mention that Nakuru is hosting 1 million voters that are supposed to participate in the next general election. And during electioneering period, if there is a place that the police and security agencies try to mark as, I don't want to say hotspot, but a spot, that is Nakuru amongst the other counties. And so the president's presence in that county is very important and deep politically as we head towards the general election. I listened to his speech yesterday and today, and there is coherence in what has taken Uhuru Kenyatta to County 032. Yesterday and today, he has spoke passionately about debunking the port transfer narrative that has been a political tool for the Kenya Kwanza team. And President is coming out publicly to expose what, according to him, is a doublespeak and a lie from Deputy President. I'm going to play for you that clip, but I captured it saying, and he was saying, that when Kenya Kwanza team are campaigning around Nakuru, they are complaining, they're talking about the way they're praising the issue, the port project there, and the industrial park that is supposed to be built, and government projects in Nakuru. But when they pick a flight and go to campaign in the coast, they complain to Mombasa residents the way port operations, the port has been carried and moved to Narok, to Naivasha depot, and it had gotten to a very ugly space where they now talk about the decision to move the port to Nakuru, rather to Naivasha, was informed by the fact that there is a private land there, which according to them is President Uhuru Kenyatta's family private land. So I think this to some extent has created anxiety amongst voters. And I want to understand that the president's intelligence might have really informed him that this is something that personally he can tackle and explain to Kenyans what exactly is happening. And that was the first mission of the president. Secondly, as I mentioned, Nakuru County has been experiencing this amorphous group known as the Confirm, and that gang had brought in an element of fright in Nakuru. And this is a town that has all the communities, so there is a possibility that people might have feared and start moving out of the town, or rather start moving out of the county in the wake of fear of election violence. And so I think the president's mission, today's mission there, was also trying to play his role as a custodian of peace in this election. And he was telling them peacefully, and if you look at the tone of his speech there, the tone of his speech was, President Uhuru was very relaxed, taking things very easy and telling them that, look here, we must have peace, and peace is at the center of this election. So that is also one of the things I could see trying to analyze on President Uhuru Kenyatta's speech there. Yes, acknowledging that is Mzee. And if you remember yesterday's speech, he was speaking and saying that hii uongozi si marathon. Kama ni wakimbiaji tuko na Kipchumba Murkomen. Eti Murkomen. Tuko na Kipchoge, Eliud Kipchoge. And so we are not electing a president to go and run. So the leadership is about wisdom. He's been trying to use Raila's incompetency card from Rigathi Gachagua as it is not, being old is not incompetent, but being old is a person who is endowed with a lot of wisdom, calm, and unity call to bring the country together. This has been his bye message because, of course, these are his last days in office and he's just telling the voters that I'm going to leave. And his bye message is well connected with Raila Odinga's presidential bid messaging, or rather campaign messaging. Now, when I captured this, there is something that came to my mind, and that is what I want us to look at. But before that, I think it's also wise enough. You have a snippet of what the president was saying in Nakuru, going towards the general election. Before I look at the perspective I wanted us to pursue, I want to humbly request you to take a second and subscribe to our channel. Click the notification bell and like our video. I also want to say big thank you to those of us that are sharing our videos. And our 50 bob challenge for Sarah's medical bill is still going on. Asanteni sana for guys that have come on board. I think the support has just blown my mind. We are at, I think, around 7,000 since morning, since the first video. We are targeting 1 million from 20,000 subscribers here. And I mean itawezekana. Ai, Mrs. Tuki, najua itaweza. So let's push. The 50 bob challenge is a medical bill for one of our own who is in the hospital. She's locked in Kenyatta. She was suffering cancer, but she's been discharged after going through all the chemo. And now it is just about the medical bill. Then from that, she can be released and go reunite with the son, the family, and also participate in this election. So I'm still continuing to appeal to you people to tokeze. Let's stand with one of our own. And this will be a gift. One of my greatest mantra, and people around me have always known, is that I normally run for the blessings. This is just running for the blessings. Hii ndio ile ya kuamka asubuhi na kwenda kufagia kanisa before everyone comes in, because you are running for the blessings. So let's rush and pick this opportunity. Now, there is a feeling, and I can say, that sustained attacks on President Uhuru Kenyatta, which was the scheme by Deputy President's handlers and Mount Kenya cheerleaders, those attacks were not going to be sustainable to the general election. And a strategy of trying to sustain those attacks to the last day of the polls is not one of the best. Because as people go towards the election, there is a conscious decision that must be made between Raila Odinga and William Samoei Ruto. The decision that Kenyans are going to make on August 9th is not on who is President Uhuru Kenyatta's best friend. and while I have seen people in campaign trail, messaging campaign trail, trying to push Uhuru and Raila in one corner and say these are people that should go home, I want to challenge UDA and strategists. And let me ask it in form of a question. When you go to vote on August 9th, are you going to choose the 5th president, or we are going to choose who is Uhuru Kenyatta's best friend? That is not it. And it has been mistaken Kenyans to believe that don't vote Raila because Raila is Uhuru Kenyatta's elder brother now. Because Raila is Uhuru Kenyatta's elder brother. I think that narrative is flat, because these 10 days to the election, Kenyans are going to vote the two. Uhuru Kenyatta is not in it. And so, the reason why I can tell you that the sustained attacks is deemed to backfire is on how the president handled it. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta decided to mute audience on them. Because what Moses Kuria wanted is a situation where he goes and attacks the president, uses all those kind of unprinted words on President Uhuru Kenyatta. The next time maybe President Uhuru Kenyatta is arresting him, they are calling protest for his release. You know, they've always wanted that friction so that it creates an outburst and there is a bit of a conversation between what the president is doing to leader A or what the president is doing to leader X. But the President Uhuru Kenyatta's handlers, I think political advisors told him that just mute on these people. And that mute has made that strategy not effective because it doesn't, there is no way you can evaluate the effectiveness of attacking the president. The president attacking is not responding to you. But when he chooses to respond, he is regarding those rants as a sign of immaturity. Sadly enough, in this, now as we go towards election, no one is talking about Moses Kuria. No one is talking about Kithure Kindiki or Alice Wahome or Kimani Chungwa. The person that is on ballot, the truth, the eye, the lens, the focus is on Deputy President William Samoei Ruto. And Uhuru has tactically turned that sword towards the Deputy President, showing that, look here, in this election, we must teach Deputy President and his handlers that the politics of lies and abuses and insults and disrespect is not the way to go. And perhaps that is why the President says that he's not ripe still for presidency. So this has been turned as an element or a sign of immaturity. Now, the sign of immaturity, it might be political immaturity. However, it demonizes the national character of William Ruto. Now, one of the biggest undoing for, and I think if there is something that the strategists around DP are struggling with, is how to counter his personal character. He's been portrayed as a liar. He's been portrayed as a man with untamed anger. He's been portrayed as a man who is a thief. He's been portrayed in all those aspects. But that has been tied down to his style of politics, and Kenyans are meant to see a man of that character. I don't want to say I doubt, but I know that this is a fate that Raila Odinga had for the last 20 years. And as time goes, the truth is emerging that the real character of Raila Odinga is really in what people are told. Now, lastly, these sustained attacks will not make any impact on this election because look at the president's diplomatic language when campaigning for Raila. Kwamba sababu tunaomba kwa unyenyekevu. You understand? There is bit of that language that is very diplomatic and humility. Sometimes you go with the total humility. People say total humility and broken heart. Intercessors, hello. Total humility and broken heart. That approach is one that attracts a national appeal. And when you listen to the president speaking in Nakuru, you don't see someone who is addressing Kikuyus exclusively. He's saying tupatie huyu mzee, and he's talking to people now. That is a language that even if you hated Raila, yes, you've been told all sorts of things about Raila, but he's saying logic. Let's vote this man for this, 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 and this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've been following President Uhuru Kenyatta's meeting, or rather 2 days tour at Nakuru, we can meet at the comment section and tell us what you exactly think. I am back with another interesting analysis tonight. So continue subscribing, and also let's continue supporting Sarah. The 50 bob challenge goes straight to my number 0710 62 78 89. Anything above 50 shillings straight to Sarah's number 0716 357 360. So me, I just want to concentrate on the 50 bob challenge from our subscribers so that we can hit at least 1 million in the next 2 weeks to mtoe hospitali tukicelebrate tukisema God is good. Asanteni sana.